Very good evening to all of you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Welcome. I hope all of you are doing well. Okay, so let's start with today's art-based intervention. I hope you all have your art materials ready. Everything is ready with you. I'll just brief you on what we need. We need basic paper. If you have a journal book, you can take that, or else you can carry sheets of paper. We need magazines, by the way. Okay, if you don't have magazines, you can quickly go and kind of get them. I've got two magazines with me. And if you don't have magazines, you can get newspapers as well. Okay, any language. It's not necessary that you have to have it in English only. Whichever language you are comfortable with. Okay, and a few basic color pencils, sketch pens to journal in and write a few questions, because every art intervention will have some reflection questions which you need to work upon. So a pen or a sketch pen will do. Basic colors like color pencils and crayons and all. Those are not necessary, but the more art materials you include, the more you will fixate on the process. Okay, so the more time you spend on it, your reflections will be much more finer. So we always recommend we use colors and sketch pens and etc. We need scissors and glue. So this is all we need for today. You can quickly get it if you don't have it. Fine. Any questions before we start the session? So this will be a kind of a writing practice also for you all, because it's a kind of a journaling method as well. But at the same time, you cannot push anyone to write too many things, or if they are not comfortable writing certain things, you may not push the person. You can always use pictures as alternatives. If they are not comfortable with words, if they are not comfortable with framing words, you can always use these magazine pictures which you have instead of the words. Right? So are we all set? I hope you've got your materials now.
Ma'am, I have journal means diaries which I got from
Yes,
Amazon
yes.
for journaling.
That's fine. No problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you can do it in whichever way you want to. So this is a very quick method of understanding your inner world, what your emotions are, what's your dominant, conflict issues which are going on right now, or what is important for you. This will help you for creative expressions, people who are very stuck with their emotions, or those who are feeling very numb, emotionless or numb or stuck. This will help you to express yourself in a more creative way. That will open up channels of creativity. It's also a fun method of involving your cognition, how aware you are, or how much you can utilize your resources in the best possible way. It's also good for emotional regulation, because after you're done with your exercise, whatever art intervention we are doing, you'll be reflecting on a few things, as well as problem solving skills. So since we are using a lot of right brain as well as left brain here, it's more of a mixed method. It's not only an art intervention. Okay, so you're using words as well as free expressions. So it's kind of a mixture which will help the person open up more. It will open up your mind as well. This is recommended a few sessions later, maybe not the very first session, because this can be a little challenging for certain people. Okay, so make it a point that you include this way later into your sessions. Okay, and specifically, if the person is not very comfortable with writing, avoid doing so. You can include or replace it with pictures. These are the basic materials which we need, which I've already mentioned. Okay, before we start off, I'll just do a quick icebreaker to get you rolling, right? So I ask you to pinpoint, if I have to talk about myself as a dessert. Okay, जो हम लोग खाते हैं. Okay, dessert, मिठाई या cake या whatever, pastries, anything which is sweet. Okay, how would you name yourself? I am dash. Name yourself as a sweet. So this is a kind of an icebreaker. Let's see what you get. Rasgulla. Okay. The first thing I see is Rasgulla.
Yeah,
Fine.
because I'm almost like the figure of Rasgulla. People can resonate more with that, and I too also resonate with the
Okay.
Rasgulla.
Okay.
So,
Great. So Rasgulla, Rasmalai, Trisamu. I don't know what that is. Chocolate, Malai Kulfi, Rasmalai, again, strawberry ice cream. Great. So we are all getting very hungry, isn't it? We're all
I
drooling over
think
this.
she means tiramisu.
Okay, okay, okay. Great, great. I think you've already started drooling. How many of you have? Because that's a reflex action which we have in our brains. Whenever we see the names of food, we start drooling over it. So great. So if we reflect on this, why have you named yourself that? The next step. So someone has written, maybe you can unmute and talk now, a few of you all. Then we move on to the main activity. Okay, my figure. And that's nice. Okay, that's kind of nice and warm and fuzzy. Okay, let's see. Maybe a few of you can talk as well. That would be good.
Maybe I look tough from outside, but I'm sweet and caring from inside. I selected gulab jamun.
Okay, great. So it's like a metaphor. That's fine. Softness and dark texture. Okay, great, great. And who else? The balance of sweetness and health. Okay, great. We are getting good responses about this. Anyone else who would like to talk
So
about why?
chocolate, I have written chocolate because I think it's my comfort food.
Okay,
anytime anytime I'm anxious, I look forward to having chocolate.
okay,
So maybe that is the reason I wrote
okay.
chocolate.
Great. So that's your comfort zone. Wonderful. So this activity will open up your, kind of thinking process. It's a very, very short activity, icebreaker, in fact, which you can conduct and then move on to the main part. So are we all ready with the main activity? Right. So this one, just try to reflect why you wrote about that sweet and how it resonates with you and all. Okay, you can reflect on that and quickly write it down, maybe. Okay, so moving on to the main activity. Sorry. Fine. So what we will do now is we take our magazines, whichever magazine you have. I've got this last minute Asian Paints magazine, but there are a few things written on it. And my daughter's magazine, which is going to be terrified if I tell her I've cut out words from there. So what you're going to do is you'll skim through the magazine and you're going to select 10 words which you feel drawn towards. Okay, which you feel is like kind of resonating with you. Okay, so 10 words from the magazine you select and cut out. You're going to cut out those words. Okay, so we're going to take maybe 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes in order to do that. First, skim through the magazine and then cut out 10 words from it. It can be newspapers also. If you feel kind of some picture is resonating with you, you can also cut that out and paste it while you're writing. This part will take a little bit of time because they need to skim through it and then go through the entire thing. If you feel the person is not, ready to go through the magazines and stress out on that, what you can do is ask them to write down 10 words. That's the last resort. Do not include it in the first place only. You can always ask them to write it down. 10 words which they feel are coming up to their minds, okay, without much thoughts. But it's always better to include magazines and colors and pictures and all those. This particular activity can also be done digitally. In the sense, you can always ask them to browse through the internet, maybe cut paste words on Word or PPT and work on it. They can go to Pinterest, they can download pictures, they can use certain words which they are resonating, and then they can do it digitally. Specifically, if you're doing sessions online, okay, that would be a lot more helpful. So, just to give you an input, what I'm cutting out, I've got this color name, which is very interesting to me, of course, is violet cream. So I kind of resonated with that and I'm cutting it out. I like the word somehow, I don't know why. Violet cream. So this is what I cut out. I hope you can see. So this can be anything from pictures to words to something which you are able to connect. I keep this. I'm done with one. It's always suggested that at the first go, uh, you know, kind of encourage the person to go through the entire magazine first, or whichever print media they have, to go through the entire thing first and then come back and select certain words. So I've got a very tiny letter here, however. The second word which I chose is lost. We are limiting to 10 because of shortage of time, but if you are doing one-on-one basis or in a group, you can have an assortment of say 15 words, 20 words, whichever is feasible for you, because people generally connect with this activity while they are into this, cutting and searching and looking for certain words. Done. Okay. My third word is expedition.
Ma'am, just now I have five words in my hand, so I have to pick five from this, right?
No, you have to have 10 words.
Yeah, 10 words I have. 10 I have now in my hand. So I have to
Okay.
pick five, right?
Just wait for the group. We'll
Done,
just wait
done.
for 2 more minutes. Then I'll tell you what to do. I got this nice lotus picture as well, which I'm cutting out, which in a way I feel drawn towards. So this is one picture which I've got. I'll cut it out more in a better way. So let's. How many of you are done? 10 done. Okay, great. In the meanwhile, while others are also working on it, if you can share your responses, like whatever you've cut out, if you're comfortable sharing. Anyone who wants to share what they've written?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So first, which I got is garden.
Okay.
Then my second one is nature.
Mm-hmm.
Third is mom and dad. Means I got
Okay.
the letter too.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth one is home. Fifth is life. Sixth is relationship. Then sadness. Yeah. Then is amazing.
Okay.
Then is mother. I don't know why did I like, but I liked it. Then which I got
Murder.
is mother. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Then I liked opportunities, and the last one is workshops.
Okay, great. Great.
Ma'am,
Anyone
I
else?
like to share. Yes, yes. Artist, inspired, played, emergency, visual, relationship, process, first, society, expressions.
Okay.
Okay. Ma'am,
Thank you for sharing.
got s- word, or can we take two like group of words? Okay.
Sorry?
Smile is good.
Mm-hmm.
My first word. Nurturing, destination, power, transforming, growing, conversation, hope, and positivity.
Okay. Great, great. Yes, you can use group words also if you feel that, yes, this entire thing I need to write or I need to cut. That's also fine. Like a group of words. Maybe what I can read from your subdued wall. You can have these two words as one phrase. Anyone else who would like to share while we are working on it? If you share, it will be easier for all of you to kind of connect with each other. What I feel today is a small group, so we can all share our work. I'm done with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 more. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. I will go ahead.
Yes, please.
First word I picked is talk,
Mhm.
and second one is two words like
Sorry, second one is? Couldn't hear you. Okay, maybe she got disconnected. So I'll just read out mine. I've got 8 till now. I'll be working on the rest of the two. First one was Violet Scream, and then I got lost, and then it's ambience. Then is expedition, back home, transform, cheerful corner. I'm cutting out energetic. And touches of fun. I think I'm done with almost okay. And storytelling. So these are my words. Now, what you need to do is, excuse me. Yeah, what you need to do is the next step. Have the words, in front of you, but put it upside down or put it inside a bowl, whichever is possible for you, so that you don't see them. Okay. First, browse through the words which you have picked up, try to connect with them, and then what you do is put it upside down and pick any 5. You can always use all 10, but we'll stick to only 5 for the time being. Okay, there can be several alternatives to it. If you're using 10, all 10 words, you can always use it, but we'll just stick to 5 for the time being. Yes, Priyanka?
Ma'am, I've chosen 4 pictures and 6 words. Is it fine?
Yeah, yeah, fine. No problem. So 5 pictures, if 5 pictures or words, once you're chosen, I'm done with mine. You could always cut out pictures, additional pictures, not necessarily that you have to use words. Okay. So for me, I would go for maybe whatever I have chosen, the 5 random words chosen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. My assortment of words is soothing, transform, ambience, violet scream, and cheerful corner. So this is what I've got as my word list. You can include more, that's up to you. But since this is a trial session, you can always work upon it later on as well. So now, what we will do with these 5 words or pictures is we'll create a poem, 5-line poem. Okay, seems to be a challenge, but it may not make sense. It may be something very bizarre. It may be something very kiddish. It can be anything. Okay, but what we are going to do is use each of these words. Out of these 5, just place one after the other on your journal and try to write down each line with these 5 words. So what we will do is, say for instance, soothing. Soothing is one word which I'll include in the first line. Then I have transform. I will include transform in the second line. The third one, I have ambience. I'll include ambience in the third line. Fourth is cheerful corner. Fourth line will have this word, cheerful corner. And the last one will have a violet scream word. Got it? Yes. So a 5-line poem we are going to write. It may not rhyme. It may not make sense to others. It can be anything. It's like a free expression which you are working upon. So once you start writing, wherever you're including the word or the picture, you're going to paste it there instead of writing it. Okay. So can someone tell me about their first word? And maybe you can share it with others.
Society.
Society. So what are you planning to write with that
Poem,
word?
poem, poem. With the society, I am going to write a poem.
Okay, great. So we'll include a title also once we are done. Mine is soothing. So the first line I'll write, I don't know, let me think about it and write it.
Now I want to ask one thing.
Yes,
Is
yes.
it should be proper poem or we can write normal 5 lines on it? Like, it should rhyme.
It would be good if you can connect all 5 words. Okay, that is
Oh,
a way of problem solving which we are looking into through this art intervention. And if you include more pictures, it will be much more easier to connect with the activity. Okay, so encourage people to use more of pictures with the words as well. Okay, if you want to include all 10, it's up to you, but that becomes very taxing for certain people. Those who already have a flair for writing, this will be a great activity for them because they would love to engage in this. So I've used my first word. I'll just read it out. The flowing streams are soothing to the soul. So soothing was my word, and I've used it in my first line. I'm kind of going to paste it. I'm done with my first slide. My second line is also done. My second word was transform. I wrote the way it transforms is amazing. My third word is ambience.
Ma'am, I done with 5 words, ma'am.
Okay, great. If you want to read it out, ma'am.
Ma'am, it might be okay. It's not perfect, but I will read. The topic is visualization and its power. My first word is society. Society is combination of many feelings. Second word is relationship. Those feelings will be reflect on our relationship. Third word is emergency. That relationship sometimes have many emergency. Fourth word is process. Those emergency can be clarified by one process. Fifth word is visual. That process is called positive visualization.
Great.
Something.
So, how are you feeling about it?
Ma'am, nice, ma'am. Actually, in Tamil, we used to say andadi. Andadi means which word you are ending, you should use that word in the beginning. So I end with feeling, started with feeling. End with a relationship, started with relationship. End with emergency, started with emergency. I started like that.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. So, how does the group feel about ma'am's poem?
Lovely, lovely.
And it's wonderful how you connected each of those words, like amazing, honestly.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we'll move on to the next step before, Okay, so I'm done with. See, this part will take a little bit of time because you need to give the person some reflection, some relaxation on the usage of words and all.
Ma'am, how can we use this for the in the classrooms, ma'am? So suppose if they are unable to use magazines means, so we can say
Mhm.
any words like that.
Yes, yes. At the beginning, I told you any 10 words, whichever is coming to their mind. It can be phrases, it can be adjectives, it can be anything, in fact.
Okay.
Okay, they can come up with 10 words, and from there, you ask them to filter it out.
Okay.
Pick up any 5 words and then use it.
Done.
It
Okay.
more or less has the same effect, but this is kind of a multi-dimension approach because you're using your sight, you're using your, fine motor skills, you're reading, you're going through pictures, lots of visuals, you're using glue, which is again a sensory thing, you're using
Mm-hmm.
scissors,
Mm-hmm.
then you're using also your creative skills. So if you
Mm-hmm.
include magazines, that brings up a whole lot of sensory stimulation.
Done.
Okay,
Ma'am, 1 minute.
so
My
we're done.
daughter also finished. She wants to read the thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, of course. Wonderful. Hello.
Hello. So my first word was victorious.
Mhm.
Victorious I was when I was young. My second word was childhood, a childhood with no fear and terror. Third word was inspired, inspired by the old stories that I heard. A fourth word
Mhm.
was myself, when I lost myself in thoughts of the characters in the story. And fifth word was memories, but now those days are just good old memories.
Okay, so how are you feeling writing about it? Does it resonate with your life?
Yes.
Wonderful. Great, great, great. Good job. Okay, I'm almost done with mine as well. So give me another 2 minutes. What about the group? How far? Okay, so I'll just read out mine quickly. I don't know how it makes sense, but I'll reflect on it a little later. It's very weird. My first word was soothing. The flowing streams are soothing to the soul. Next was transform. The way it transforms is amazing. Third word was ambience. Ambience changes with the sunset hues. The fourth one was cheerful corner. The cheerful corners of life, it seems. And the last one was violet scream. Has also a lot of violet screams. So the last two kind of rhymed. I'm surprised. But this I'm going to reflect now what exactly it means to me. So can we proceed or another 2 minutes before we
I
start?
want to share.
Yes, yes, of course. Would be
I
great.
selected two pictures in which one a person is reading books and the one with herbs. There are a lot of herbs in the picture, and the words are innovation, immunity, and tricks. So
Okay.
I've took the topic herbs. Like I'm so connected with herbs and natural stuff.
Mhm.
And even I'm born in a family with herb business. So maybe
Right.
I was connected that way.
Mhm.
So life is easy with lot of herbs, and I put it the herb picture. And
Okay.
many innovations are done in the last few years. Herbs provide us immunity in our day-to-day life. And the fourth is tricks. There are a lot of tricks you can try with herbs. As I try even in my life, I do a lot of stuff. So the last one is reading. So go and enjoy your reading of herbs and gain the immunity. अभी ये कुछ sense कर रहा है नहीं, but I just
No, no,
prepared it.
great, great, great. Great. Thank you for sharing it with us. Anyone else who
Thank
would
you.
like to share? Completed all five? You'd like to share? No? Okay, that's fine. Okay. So can we move on to the next step now? So we are almost done with the poem. Those who are still writing, you may continue, but we'll just move on so that we can start on the reflection questions. So these reflection questions would be like, what feeling words came up for you? The dominant feeling words, even not the ones which you have picked out, but while you were writing, what are the emotions which come up? Okay, so try to scrutinize and see what emotions are coming up. For me, I can see a lot of soothing, amazing, cheerful, but also the word scream came up. So it's kind of ending with a negative thing for me. So you can
May I,
maybe write it down.
yes, ma'am. I just wanted to ask you, can we
Yes.
write it down that what we are feeling about selecting the that thing?
Yes, 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 of course.
Oh,
The feeling words which came up while you were writing, or the ones which you picked out from the magazine. You can either highlight it or you can write it separately because you'll be journaling in a lot of things right now. So for me, soothing, amazing, amazed basically, cheerful, and then scream. I can somehow resonate with this word violet scream because uh, it kind of resonates with my approach towards life right now. See, the word transformation and ambience changes is more or less same. If you want to scrutinize your words, if you have certain words which are, going hand in hand, for me, transformation and ambience changes means a little bit of uncertainty. I feel these two words are kind of resonating with uncertainty. So I'm going to write uncertainty. So these are the 5 words which I've fished out from my own poem, like my feeling words. Now, looking at these emotion words, how does it kind of resonate with your life right now? How does it resonate, or what are thoughts come in when you're reading these? Maybe you can journal in that. Okay, so these will be your homework questions. You may not share it with the group because this will be a very, very personal thing. Those who are confused about your approach, you can always, drop in a message to me. I can guide you on how maybe you can go about the entire thing. If you want to share it, if anyone wants to share, you're most welcome in the group.
Yes, ma'am, I will share mine.
Yes.
But my question is, suppose one student is writing the reflection question only about the sadness, or he is not good. In that way, he is reflecting, means what we have to do on that.
Yes, I'll come to that. The last
Okay.
question I'll guide you through that.
Done,
Okay.
done. Okay, mine is
If,
what feeling words come up for you is I'm feeling very happy and positive. When I did this, I feel very happy. And
right.
how does the poem related to your life right now is I am very much into the visualization technique, and each and every day I'm practicing those techniques. That's what
Okay.
it reflected on my poem.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, who could you like to share your poem with? To the society only. The poem is for the society only. Does it have a happy notes? Yes, it's completely happy notes only.
Great, great, great.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you. What about others, if you want to share? Mine has kind of not, I would not say it's a negative thing, but violet screen for me. Violet, I always associate violet with my spiritual practices, which I'm not very much into, but I'm just on the way. I'm exploring certain things and I'm exploring vibrations and all those things in a more scientific way. But it's also uncertain. I'm not kind of fixated, or I'm not on the path to it yet. I'm kind of confused whether to approach it or not. Uh, Sometimes it gave me a lot of peace, mental peace and calmness, but sometimes it also becomes very harassing for me because I have to include a lot of time into it. So might be I'm resonating with that. And that causes a lot of stress and guilt. Why couldn't I practice it today? Or why couldn't I go ahead with it more in a more consistent way? So that might be reflecting in my poem. So that gave me a little bit of direction which I need to work on. Similarly for you all, if you have anything to share right now. For people who are coming up with a lot of negative words for them, it's a clear indication there's a lot of heavy things going on in your life, okay, which you need to resolve. If it's about the past, if it's about the current situation, you can always question them that how do you feel this word resonates, or what all memories come with that word. Say, for instance, someone has written scream, for my instance, scream. How does it resonate with your past or your present? Okay, so the person may be able to express, or you can always ask them to write down that each of these negative emotions, how is it relating to your life, or certain incidents which pops up in your mind while you're thinking about these words. So that will give you a lot of insight as to what needs rectification, what needs, direction into whatever you are working upon. If with ma'am's question, if someone has a lot of negative words, you can again redo this, ask them to now fish out certain positive words from the magazine. So this is part one. So if it's a positive thing, it's everything is going fine. You can do it as a check-in also in between your sessions to see how the person is progressing. If it's in the beginning of the session and you need to kind of brainstorm about certain ideas and get some direction, you can always ask them to replace those words or maybe redo the entire thing with a more of positive words. Specifically, if people are into journaling, this can be amazing way of starting off, getting deeper into your consciousness. So this is more of an advanced technique, but also it can be a lot more fun when you're doing it in a group also. If you have, whether it's in the office, whether it's in school, if you have group conflicts, a lot of people are into conflicts and you can see that. You can always ask them to sit together and work upon one poem with maybe 10 words and see what the group cohesiveness or what the group thinking is. If there are lots of negatives, you can always ask them to exchange with pictures, more positive words and all the things. Okay, so say for instance, if I have to replace.
How can we motivate
Yes,
them to replace words?
Sorry, I
from
couldn't hear
negative?
you.
I'm saying, ma'am, how can we motivate them to replace the words from negative to positive? Can you give me an example?
Say for instance, that's what I was talking about. If I have to replace this word violet scream, which in a way I like it, but I will represent, kind of replace it with the other word which I picked out as energetic. So I'm going to replace it and maybe reframe my last line. So I'd written the cheerful corners of life, it seems, has also a lot of energetic something. We'll write it down. Maybe I'll replace the violet scream with the word energetic. So you can always ask them to fish out more of positive words or maybe pictures, maybe a lotus or some flowers or some rainbow or some kind of happy faces, certain things which will help them to kind of channelize the negativity into more positivity.
This
And
is
also,
before writing the poem, right?
yes, include it in the poem. And then what you do is after a lot of cutting and pasting and all those things, you can always ask them to kind of reframe the entire thing and put it in one place. The best way to do is ask them to kind of, frame it. If you have a small paper, you can frame it and put it up on the wall. That gives a lot of happiness to the person as well. With the positive words, of course. You can make this into a collage. You can have more pictures and you can always color in a little bit, doodle in a little bit. So there's always space for creativity. Any questions at this point? And it's pretty quick also. It's just the skimming part which needs a little bit of time. But this creative expression opens up a lot of problem solving. Because what you're looking at is your own writing, your own reflection about your life and how you can transform the negatives into positives. Your, say for instance, violet scream, it's redirecting it to energetic. So what I feel for me would be to bring in more energy, to rest more and bring in more energy into it and bring more passion into it. So maybe I will redirect myself into doing that. So that gives you a little bit of problem solving, which is non-directive by nature. This is kind of a non-directive technique which you're using. The words, yes.
Ma'am, should we write for all the 5 words, filling words for all the 5 words?
Yes, you can have more than 5 also. It's not necessarily that you will only have 5 or less. It can be less than 5 also. Anything which is predominant in that poem. How do you feel about this entire poem? Someone will feel positive, someone will feel negative, someone will feel nothing, neutral. Even for people who are feeling neutral, you can always encourage them because that gives an indication of an emotional block. There's no direction into the same. So what you're doing is pushing them to find out more positives from the magazine. This becomes easier. Why? Because they're just fishing out words. They don't need to invest themselves into thinking too much. Okay, and while they're fishing out words, subconsciously, they're also trying to resolve certain issues which are going on.
Okay. So can I write my filling word as happy for all the 5 words, or something else?
Yes, yes. It's an open choice for you. If your poem has a happy ending, happy note to it, of course you can write only happy.
Okay.
This is also personal check-in. If everything is going fine, I'm happy, I'm, kind of contented with my life. If I have certain challenges, that will give you a kind of a direction into what needs to be resolved.
Okay.
Specifically, when people who are coming for counseling will have a lot of distress in the first place.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that will help you for the therapist also to get certain insights as to what needs rectification or what is predominantly wrong at that moment in life.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions? So your assignment.
Dr. Ria,
Yes,
Anu
yes,
here.
yes. Hi.
Yeah. So you told five words, right?
Right,
Five
right,
words. So five
right.
words. Do you think if somebody writes more than 5 words, as 5 lines of the poem? Sorry, my question was 5 lines of the poem. Is it okay?
Yes,
Because I've
yes.
seen, I've done this activity already with my
Mhm.
one of my students who was
Okay,
not willing
okay.
to open up during career counseling. So
Mm-hmm.
I gave her. She picked up 5 words. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but then what she did was she used those repeated words in each para. She made she was a systematic. Some people are very process-lines and systematic, even though they
Yes, yes,
appear for
yes.
counseling. So she
Mm-hmm.
made a 4 lines poem of four
Mm-hmm.
stanzas. But
Okay.
what she had done is like if she's picked up innocent and feeling deprived,
Mm-hmm.
she used
Mm-hmm.
2 words in a paragraph. Next paragraph, she had used innocent and hurt in with that.
Okay,
5 words
okay.
she had interchanged. Is that
Mm-hmm.
I mean, will that even I mean serve the purpose of what we're doing here?
Absolutely. But if that will take a lot of time and that becomes much more
Mm,
detailed. Okay, what
mm,
we were looking into is into someone's mind, which can be very quick to understand.
mm,
Okay, so this is anything can be done. It can be a two-page poem also, but just to keep
mm.
it very short and crisp, we include only 5 words and 5 lines. If you want
Okay.
to elaborate, you're most welcome to, but then your task becomes very difficult because the more words you have, the more confusing it becomes. In order
Yeah,
to
I think.
understand. Hmm.
Yeah, so no, this was like even I think that 5 or 6 words that kid had used, but she
Mm-hmm.
went. I just told her that write a small poem. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
I had taken this lead from somewhere I read, so I thought, okay, let
Mm-hmm.
me give this an icebreaker for the career counseling what I was doing that time
Right.
because this kid was very artistic and the parent was forcing the kid to go for professional. So I was the
Right.
mediator in that. So that
Okay.
time when I gave her, she did pick up that 5 to 6 words. We had a
Mm-hmm.
basket of words. She picked it up, but she made a poem of 12 lines with the same
Okay.
jumbling of words. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she wanted to express the poem was very awesome, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but is does that have? I mean, does this serve the purpose of what we're doing? Yes, she did. She was a very fast writer. Yes, I had to make it icebreaker, so it was 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes.
Right.
So
Right.
that is my question. If so, should I stick to the only five this one, or should I let them explore? Give
See,
them the
it's
leeway.
better to ask them to explore because a lot of people will have a lot inside to express. So if they are willing to express, they are willing to invest more time, it's okay. But then your
Mm-hmm.
task about maybe if they're using the same word in two different lines, you can club together those two lines and understand what the feeling is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's similar or whether it's poles apart. So if it's poles apart, then there is a confusion between, there's an approach avoidance conflict going on.
Correct.
If it's similar, that means it becomes a predominant emotion in that person. So of course that will give you a lot of insight, but of course it's again time consuming. So it's an
Okay.
open choice. It can be
It's a
of any length. But if
mm,
you talk about the general population, you can always stick to 5.
5. Okay.
So
Yeah.
this will be the
Thanks.
directive technique, which you're including certain steps and you need to follow a few steps. The other part can be non-directive as to let them have their open choice and let them problem solve on their own. Replace it with more positive if they have negative words.
Yeah.
So it's both a blend
Thanks a
method.
lot.
Well,
Okay.
So your assignment
What
would be,
about
you
the
can,
next two questions?
yes,
Who would you like to share your poem with?
yes, yes.
And we can write like family or something.
Yes, that's up to you. That's totally up to
Okay,
you
ma'am.
whom you want to share your poem with. Okay, if it's for a specific person, it can be for them. If it's only for you, the best way is to frame it and keep it with you. Okay, and or else journal it in your own journal. Keep it somewhere stored. If you want to gift it to someone, you can always do that. If you are talking about some person, if I have to ask you if you want to give it to some person or read it out to some person, maybe your entire emotion has some association with that person. So whether there are conflicts, whether there are happy emotions, everything will be related to that particular person whom you're trying to share your poem with. So that will also give you an insight as to what your relationship needs are as well, or whatever need is reflecting in your poem may be sourced out of that person as well. Okay. So it's a kind of a request. If you're working on this, it's also your assignment. Reflect on it and you can upload it in the same link. And if possible, send us your poem. If we can share it on a social media, if you want to really share it with others, you can always send a picture of it. Okay, after you complete the entire assignment, you can always share it. I'll open the group because I don't open the group because then there are too many messages. If you want to personally message me, you can do that. I'll open the group after 2 days and I'll ask you to post whatever you have worked upon, whichever you want to share, and then we can reshare it on our social media if you allow us to. Okay, any other questions?
Now I want to say something. Like I already told you that my topic was herbs, and I really feeling connected. Like it is
Mhm,
more positive and less like least negative because there is only a word which is tricks.
mhm,
I don't like. I connected with this word because I really don't like people playing tricks with each other. So I
mhm,
connected that way, but I
mhm.
use the word in a different form in my poem. So
Absolutely.
is it fine? Like I'm not feeling like negative, like I'm feeling more positive and connected towards the herbs
Yes,
because
yes, of
I
course.
use okay,
Of
ma'am.
course, of course. Whichever way you feel about it, it's not necessarily how people perceive it. What you feel about it is more important in art-based intervention. See, I can always say trick is a negative word, but for you, it's a positive thing. So I cannot suggest you that this is a negative thing, right?
Uh, like I'm feeling right now, like from last few days or months, I've been like not very much into herbs. Like I was not using it or
Mm-hmm.
maybe doing something with it. So even I'm feeling connected. Like let's do something again.
Yeah,
Like
great.
let's use those herbs and spices again.
So this gave you a kind of a push or a motivation to start off again and
Yes,
start
kind
somewhere.
of. Ma'am.
I'm glad. That's great. Okay, so for today, I think we are done with the session. Any other questions, you can always approach me. I will soon send the details of the next meeting. It will be somewhere in between the coming week, okay, towards the evening itself. Okay.
Ma'am, one last question, please.
Yes, yes.
I forgot to submit my totem animal assignment. So can we do it now? If it's fine.
Yes, yes. Before 4 classes, because this is the third class. The fourth class, we'll be rolling out your certificates.
Okay. I've submitted the first one, but I forgot to submit the second. My third is ready now, so I will submit the
Fine,
both of them together.
fine. So your last
Thank you,
date
ma'am.
would be around 5th June, after which by 10th June you'll receive your first lot of certificates, and then we'll start with the next 4 classes. So this will go on rolling. So before every fourth class, you can submit all your assignments. That would be your deadline. Okay, it was great to have you
Yes,
all.
Can you repeat the assignment once for this class?
Yes, assignment is you have to work on the activity which we did today, reflect on it, and if possible, you can share it with me. I will upload the same on the groups. Your work will be uploaded.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
with your permission.
Thank you.
Fine.
ma'am. My one last question, ma'am,
Yes.
regarding that totem animal. That was
Mhm.
amazing activity. All the kids enjoyed a lot. that autism kids, he's very brilliant. He expressed a very good actually. One autism and one seizure and one learning disability child. They all expressed very well. But as you said, for the colors, we have to use certain colors to improve our emotions. Like that,
Right.
how we can use that animal, tanto animal.
See, totem animals, there are both positives as well as negatives in each animal. So if you go through the PDF, you will see there are positive traits, negative traits. So maybe
Hmm.
you can always ask them to highlight the more of positives and lower the negatives. Say, for instance, a lion. Lions
Hmm.
are supposed to be king of jungle. They are ferocious. Ferocious in the sense they're very brave. They hunt. They kind of protect their families and all. But at the same time, if you are too ferocious, then people don't want to come around you because lions are very seclusive animals. They don't live with others, right? So you can always ask them to how you can, transform yourself, reduce the negative, and bring out the more positives.
If we ask like that, immediately they will change. Okay, ma'am, I will choose some other animal. So is that
Ah,
okay?
that's
Is that
fine. Yes, 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 absolutely. It's an
so?
open
Do
choice.
they need to draw those animals always like that? Is there is any practice
No,
like
no,
that?
no. It's just a reflection. See, totems, they can always, what we suggest for younger children, they draw out certain stickers and we paste
Mm-hmm.
it on the exercise copy or certain books or storybooks, anything which is favorite to them, which is a constant reminder that I have these traits and I need to be working upon more. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you with younger children, you can always work on stickers and badges and something, some poster or a card, appreciation
Mm-hmm.
card. You can always give it to them,
Okay, ma'am. Done. Mm.
Is it possible to do the
symbolizing that.
is it possible to do the this totem animal exercise with the group
Yes,
within a
yes, yes.
group?
Group, it works very well. In fact, class, because they share their viewpoints about
Emotions?
themselves and they open up also. Class, a lot, many times I've observed in the class when they share certain traits, other people agree or disagree, which that also gives them an insight on.
Mm-hmm.
Many children come up very amazed that, okay, my class feels this way about me, but I feel this way about myself. So that kind of puts across a lot of cohesiveness. So
Okay,
this
ma'am.
is, in fact, a very good activity for groups.
Color, I'm working on that, ma'am. It's really good actually, as you suggested certain colors, and I'm working on that. I think it's behavioral changes I can see within the kids.
That's great. I'm glad. Wonderful. All the best.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
very
Thank you.
glad. Okay, so I'll send across the next class details. It'll be very soon, in fact, because I've missed out 1 or 2 weeks in between. Okay, thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you.